Okay, and now we have the art history essay. And it is by Anant Tobrewal, Dr. Jekyll or Mr. Hyde, and an inquisition into the innate nature of humanity. And he's going to read the essay. Okay. Would you like for me? You know what I can do is do this.
Should I take the mic?
Yes.
Throughout history, artists have tried to capture the struggle of man over his ignoble self. Two works of art in the Dallas Museum of Art collection convey this theme. The Durga Maharashtramanidini, a sculpture from 12th century India, and Ugolino and His Sons, a French sculpture by Jean-Baptiste Coupeau from the year 1860. Through the references to moralistic stories and use of symbols, the artists of these sculptures depict the eternal struggle of good versus evil. The Durga Maharashtramanidini sculpture demonstrates the Hindu belief in the dual nature of mankind and the necessity to transcend the material world in order to achieve enlightenment. In it, the sculpture wishes to convey that humans should be above lowbrow, benighted thoughts and actions in order to become enlightened. He does this through a depiction of a popular religious story in order to make it accessible. This story is that of the battle between the goddess Durga and the buffalo demon Mahesha. The sculpture depicts the climax of the battle, when the head of the buffalo is severed and Mahesha appears from its neck as a man with a sword and a shield. Durga's face is calm and serene, demonstrating that she is enlightened and not troubled by earthly, materialistic matters. Durga's foot is on the buffalo, which represents the arrogance and hubris of mankind. This intimates that one should control these flaws and not allow them to take over oneself. The demon Mahesha appears from the buffalo's severed head, symbolizing that evil lurks hidden in human emotion and action. The artist places the buffalo and demon on the lower segment of the sculpture, indicating the petty and materialistic influence that inhabits mankind from reaching the upper level of enlightenment with the gods. The energetic activity of the demon and the buffalo contrasts with the calm and serene Durga, who, as she defeats her opponent, exemplifies the theme of order over chaos and enlightenment over ignorance. The sculpture Ugolino and His Sons by Jean-Baptiste Coupeau vividly portrays the grief and anguish of Ugolino when presented with the dilemma of eating his own children. The real-life Ugolino della Gradesca, an Italian nobleman in the 13th century, was imprisoned with his sons for treason and left to starve. Additionally, this atrocious figure was featured in Dante's Inferno, in which he was banished to hell after devouring his offspring's corpses. He was driven mad with hunger, and so his children offered to let him eat their bodies. Coupeau captures this agonizing and damning moment in which, while chewing on his fingers, Ugolino's children offer themselves up to him as food. The first features one notices are the heads and hands of Ugolino. The starving Ugolino is chewing his fingers with rage, demonstrating his attempt to resist the temptation to commit cannibalism. Additionally, his brow is furrowed and his mouth is upturned. Ugolino is portrayed as a tragic noble, suffering as his sons watch. Tormented by his anguish, they beg that he eat him and that he eat them instead of having to die of starvation. Coupeau imbues a strong anatomical realism in this piece, showing the twists and turns of the body and the limbs. He attempts to provide as genuinely as possible the extreme emotion of the individuals. In the end, hunger proved stronger than grief, and Ugolino could not overcome temptation. Thus, humanity is forever shackled to its limits, and is unable to crawl out of the mire of sin. Are humans inherently good or evil? Every culture has its own view on whether mankind is capable of being something greater than itself. While the Durga Maharashtramanidini demonstrates how humanity can improve itself and achieve spiritual enlightenment, Ugolino and His Sons depicts man's tragic fall and regression to ignorance and despair. The differing outcomes in these works allow one to understand the views of their respective cultures on humanity and its morality.
That is so deep. It's like we were reading all of these essays, and I'm certain that when Melissa and everybody else was, making the decisions, I mean, this is just incredible. How many works of art did you look at before you finally said, these are the two that I want to make that comparison?
Well, I knew I wanted to talk about two sculptures because I love 3D art and different perspectives it gives. And so I was looking at these different sculptures, and the first one I saw was Ugolino and his sons. And I saw it from like across the hallway, and it immediately stuck out to me because of how harrowing it was, and just the extreme emotion on it. And so I immediately knew I wanted to talk about that because it's just how interesting it looked. And then I was walking through the Indian culture exhibit, and I saw Durga Maheshwar Madini, and I remember that sculpture. I remember that image because of my own culture, and I've heard that story before. So I have a personal connection to that sculpture. So that's why I wanted to choose that one.
That's great. There's a line, and I'll go back to this right now where I just thought, every culture has its own view on whether mankind is capable of being somewhat greater than itself. And then how you go on to compare both. And the importance of having to allow the understanding and views of respective cultures and humanity. And I think that that's so timely, especially now with all the different cultures and understanding and having tolerance as well. So I mean, I always am impressed when the students then whether they're when you're writing your essays for the inspiration behind the works of art or the art history or the music when it's in its time. So is there I was going to ask, how does it feel to have your essay displayed and available in a smartphone tour? Because the music and the art history are both of the ones where you can download for free.
It's really amazing because I've been going to museums since I was little, and I've always looked at the works and the pieces at them with awe, like how do these people get in here? And so to finally have something that I've written in here is just a dream come true. It's amazing.
So the museum has a lot of, I wanted to mention too, a lot of access programs, and one of them is Meaningful Moments, where they have, Meaningful Moments is the one for early stages of dementia, not that one. There's the other one where it's in October, where we have for visitors with where their eyesight, art beyond sight. And so we have some of those visitors that come throughout the year, and they've been coming to see the exhibitions, and when they know they can't see them, they've been listening to them. So, I mean, I think that's important that it's reaching to a lot of the different visitors that do not have that hearing. And do you plan to pursue a career in the arts after high school? In art history, writing, like you're an excellent writer?
Well, I am definitely interested in arts, and I plan to study it in college as well. And I'm thinking of taking art history as a minor also, as well as continuing my career studies.
Do you have, I know I saw your family here tonight. Are any of them also writers? I'm sure you express yourself, and you're being modest, all these inspiration behind. We have this great program, by the way, called Arts and Letters Live, and we bring in a lot of the authors. Many of them are like Caldecott award-winning authors, award-winning, and many of them are free. And we have a major festival that's coming in April, and you all should check that out. It's called Art and Science, and it'll be on a Saturday. And let's see, how has art and art history changed or influenced your life?
Well, I feel when I started this year, when I took art history, the AP art history class, I really had very little to no experience with art and with studying the history of art. And so by taking this class, I really have a whole new perspective on the world and all the different cultures of the world. And I have a new sense of understanding of different people and diversity, as well as a new sense of wonder also. I feel that I'm able to connect with a lot of different kinds of people by understanding art and how the cultures are influenced by art.
What a great response, very deep. Finally, how has a College Board AP Advanced Placement Art History course prepared you as a student?
Well, I feel it's really prepared me for college because I learned how to analyze different works and how to really be insightful and think about what other people's perspectives are and what other people's purposes are for making these artworks.
Thank you. Is there anything else you'd like to share with the audience?
Just thank you for listening to me and reading my piece.
It's really good. You're also